Boom, Two Planker Podcast. We got ECook and Ethan. Thank you for joining us, dude.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys? How's it going?
So, dude, I'm really happy to get this done. Everyone has requested you for a while. We met briefly last year at X Games, and so we're doing it. So, tell everyone where you're at right now. You're in Europe?
Yes, sir. Right now, I am in Innsbruck, Austria, with Danny B and Simo, and we're just filming.
Yeah. So, we'll get into everything and how you got to this point, because everyone's got a lot of questions about how a kid from Pennsylvania pretty much is out here filming like some of the biggest videos there are. So, let's start off just back origin story. Where are you from originally?
Origin story. Originally, I'm from Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I grew up riding at Round Top Mountain Resort, which is a pretty small resort.
Yeah, that's where Steve Stepp grew up. That's where Ryan Barrick grew up.
Steve Stepp, Ryan Barrick, Derek Simpson, Mike Urick, all some big skiers out of there.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
I'm 20 now. Yeah.
Okay, so you were the youngest of all of them.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I have my own friend group that I grew up skiing and snowboarding with there, and they're all my age. But yeah, Barrick and them are a few years older than me.
Yeah. And so when you were younger, were you always the filmer of the group, or was it kind of the natural progression where it's like, damn, everyone's getting really good, I guess I'll film?
Yeah, I was definitely always the filmer. I was never good enough and never like felt the need to like be skiing like that. I actually met Ryan Barrick and a lot of people for the first time because I was filming this one day. And I remember Ryan Barrick trying to do a 1080, which to me was a crazy stunt. And he knocked himself out, and I was the only one with the clip. So it was a pretty funny introduction to a lot of people there.
Yeah. Damn. Did you have any... I'll ask you this first before we move on from Pennsylvania. So, do you have any siblings? Like, what did your parents do for work? Like, what was like their life outside of filming and skiing?
Yeah. So, no, I'm an only child, but growing up, I did a bunch of sports. Played volleyball in high school, and my dad was in the Marines for like 30 years or something, and the DEA, which was pretty crazy to grow up in a household like that. And my mom is a counselor at like a local college.
Yeah. Sick. So pretty normal. I mean, as normal as it can be. What was it like having your dad work for the DEA?
It was actually pretty crazy because I would like be playing football or baseball when I was younger, and from what he told me, like he would run into people that he would be like getting intel from, I guess, and they would like try to talk to him at the game, and he would tell them like that's not like a chill thing to be doing.
That's wild.
And I remember like going on, like it was chill, but like I do remember like going on surveillance to like see if this one car was in this neighborhood a few times, and my mom would get super upset by that. So
all right, so super weird childhood. Let's talk about like early inspirations and all that. Since you were a filmer right out the gate, who were you watching, and like what was getting you stoked?
Yeah, so growing up, I had a GoPro and entered this contest for Woodward, a free week to Woodward to film for their film camp. And I actually ended up winning, and then went to Woodward with the GoPro contest and met one of my idols, Ty Evans, who filmed like Fully Flared and Yeah Right and a lot of the classic skateboard videos. He's filming Naja now and definitely has switched his style, but back in the day was filming some of the craziest stuff on the VX. And yeah, big inspiration for me growing up, and it was crazy meeting him. And during that week I actually like became good friends with him and this other guy JP. And I won another contest while I was there to film for a week in LA. And yeah, that was a pretty crazy experience.
Yeah. That's so I actually.
All right, that went like far off from your question.
Nah, you're good. You're good. I like jumping around a little bit. So I actually hit up Owen Dahlberg before this, and I asked him if he had any questions for you, and he mentioned that story you just said. He said, what inspired you the most to start using a camcorder style camera? Growing up, you were a little film prodigy at Woodward, filming with Ty Evans. When did you make the switch? So was it your experience at Woodward that kind of switched up your filming style?
No, actually, not at all. Going to Woodward fed into like me filming like high HD style, and I was like super focused on like the Hollywood look of things and cinema cameras, because when I was at Woodward I was only filming on like red cameras. Mm-hmm. And I was like 13, so it was like the coolest thing ever to be able to film like super slow-mo and red cameras is like, yeah, a dream, because like when you're growing up that's like the coolest stuff. But yes, I moved into filming camcorder style because I got like super influenced by skateboarding eventually, and was like, I was at Woodward seeing like all the people I was filming, and I wasn't filming them that way at all. I was like filming them the Hollywood way, and I wanted to be like more in skating and like do it real. So I actually went to Woodward Copper on my way moving to Utah, and met Quinn Wolferman and used his camcorder, and I was just hooked on it, and then I bought it from him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's pretty tight.
That's the camera I still rock, and has like made all the videos that like everyone is hyped on.
Yeah. So what camera is that you're using now?
Yeah, the camera I'm using now is the Panasonic HCX1.
Mm-hmm. And is that tapes? Is that
no, it's SD card. It's like the HMC 150 kind of, but the newer one. It has 4K, but I only film in 1080 on it.
So why'd you feel like filming like camcorder style was superior to like the super HD Hollywood look? Because I feel like for skating, a lot of skating, it's like it's part of the culture. You know, but for skiing, you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. I think I just got to a point with the like Hollywood look of things where I was like, I don't want to like sound cocky, but like I just felt like I couldn't really like do anything more with it. At least like for like what I was doing in my age, I like had learned everything I like could with it. And I was like, I don't know. I just was ready to like try something new. And with like, the camcorder, I could be zooming and like twisting it around a lot more. And it was just like easier to transfer the files was a big thing. I really noticed how like the VX and the HMC and HVX were like these like big cameras in skating that like people really had a lot of like respect for. And I wanted to like bring that type of culture more into skiing.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, you can totally do whatever you want and people will like it, but I feel like progressing skiing and filming and skiing to like make stuff that's sick would be really cool.
Yeah. Well, I think skiing could take a lot from skate culture. Like I was going through my archive stories because I wasn't sure if we did a viewer questions for the slide, like back when we first tried to set up the interview. And I remember seeing that during that LA snowstorm, a bunch of snowboarders hit the Hollywood High Rail. And I was like,
that on Jankum, I think.
Yeah. And I was like, why didn't any ski crews try to hit any iconic skate spots?
Way bigger rails than that too. But
yeah,
I don't really know it, but
it's tough. I mean, I've talked about it on the podcast before, and it's just, we can learn a lot from skate culture. They've definitely got a lot more going on, and snowboarding taps into that, I think, a little bit more readily, just since it's a lot of those same guys.
I'm always talking to people about this, especially Patrick Ring, because he's big in the skate scene too, and we're always saying how snowboarding's 5 years behind skateboarding and skiing's 10 to 15 years behind that. So
yeah,
it'll come. It's just a lot of people have to like get together and want to progress it and not just like do the same things over and over.
Yeah. Do you think there's a trend coming down the pike that skating and snowboarding already got, that skiing still hasn't picked up on it, but it's coming soon?
For sure, yeah. I see it everywhere, and I go everywhere. I've been traveling so much this year, and I see the way the culture is changing, at least in what people are wearing. Like, people seem to care a lot right now about what people are wearing, how they're wearing it, and like the fit of things. And yeah, I think ski culture is catching on, and like a lot of like fisheye is coming into play, and the HVX is like really popping right now in skiing.
Yeah. Word. All right. I want to talk to you about moving out to Utah, but you said there was another, before we depart that, there was another video contest out in LA that you won, like around the Woodward time.
Yeah. So I can speak on that. When I was at Woodward, I was like selected, I guess, to go to LA and film for a week with Ty Evans and JP in their van called the Shoutout van. And it's got this crazy camera system on the front. It's a red camera and a gimbal. And yeah, basically they just invited me out and they said, film whatever you want. And they drove me around. I got to skate with Chris Colburn and Jordan Maxim. And the footage is out there. There's a whole like recap video of this that I can send the link to. It's pretty funny. I'm like, I think 13 in it, and I'm like, they like tell me on stage, and I like start crying, and then like I go, and they're like having me like act kind of like, oh, like good to see you, and I had already seen them, so it's like super awkward, but no, it was a really like pretty life-changing experience to go out there. And yeah, at that age, it was just like crazy for me.
Yeah, that's so sick. So you made the move out to Utah. Was that just, I mean, you could tell us a story about moving out to Utah. Did you have any plans to go to college? I'm not sure if you went to college or what happened, but tell us about the move.
Basically, I decided to move to Utah because I was looking at a bunch of colleges and not really like not down to go to school. I was in high school, like kind of not doing anything. I would like get the grades my parents wanted me to, but I was not really like ever involved in school, I guess. I was always like trying to find a way out of school. And I started filming the football team in high school, which like got me a lot of like kind of time out of school and leniency with like assignments and stuff. So that was awesome. And then COVID happened, and I was just like pretty left with nothing but filming and yeah, skiing and skateboarding. So filmed a full length skate video, filmed some skiing, and then I went out to Salt Lake. Well, actually, no, I flew into Portland to see Ryan Barrick, and we were doing this like deviation on the road thing, and it was like we would drive his RV from Portland to Salt Lake and make a video. And yeah, I made the video, went to Salt Lake. It was super sick, like the ski scene there and everything. And I met my old roommate, Ty Snosowski. And he was just like, yeah, man, like if you want to come back, like you can come stay on the couch as long as you want. And I didn't know if he was serious really. And then yeah, I went back, or well, I like hit him up once, and he was like, yeah, you can come through whenever. And then I like got a ticket out there, and then just like only had him on Snapchat. And then I don't know why it felt so sketchy, but like I don't think he responded until he like picked me up from the airport that like I could come stay. And I was like 16 maybe, and it was like pretty like rogue move. And then I was just out there chilling, only had like one suitcase, no clothes basically. And like all my friends can say I like wore the same stuff for so long. I had this Mountain Dew beanie that they all mention that I would wear every day. But then I ended up staying on his couch for 3 months. And then I was like, all right, yeah, like I should just move here. It's going well. And during this time I'm still in high school. I'm doing online school during COVID. So I go home for graduation, and well, I was actually like 60 assignments behind in English, but she hooked it up because she knew I was like making videos and traveling, which was super awesome. But went home for graduation, graduated, hung out for a bit, and then drove back to Utah, started paying rent at Ty's house and moved in with him. And yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. This sounds like just like those stories people tell about like young Henrik coming over, and it's like, just
all he had was like his skis, and that's about it.
And that's it. And he's just a little kid hanging out with all these older kids.
Yeah, and like at the time I had like no idea what was going on. I was like in between of like filming like Hollywood style kind of HD and camcorder, and I was like riding like 160 Gilsons because they were hooking me up like fat. Like they gave me like 5 pairs of skis because I was living in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like not in tune with what was happening at all. But all I had was skis and my camera, and it was awesome. It was super fun to like just go for it.
So did being out in Salt Lake City get you more up to date on the culture, and like have you dropped the Mountain Dew beanie and the Gilsons?
Oh yeah. I don't mean to claim, but I'm far past where I was back then. I will say Salt Lake culture is like a dual-edged sword though. It can be great and you can like really progress with it, or it can be like super toxic and like not a great place to like grow.
Yeah. So a lot of people say that. So what's your view on it, on like Salt Lake? Because everyone, like, it's a lot of people will say that about Salt Lake. They're like, yeah, it's kind of shit here. So what's been your experience with that? You feel like it's limiting in some ways more than it is helpful?
Yeah, I mean, it's just way different than anything I've ever experienced. Like growing up on the East Coast, I didn't like realize how close all the cities were to each other, and how like you could swim and like go in water, because like in Utah you can't like really go in water and shit. And yeah, I don't know. It's like fine. I wouldn't see myself living there if there wasn't skiing to be done. But and I don't even know how much longer I'll live there. I would love to like move back to the East Coast, but still film skiing. But yeah, I don't totally know.
Yeah.
But I will say, like from like cultural standpoint, yeah, Salt Lake is really sick because everyone's like doing the same thing and skiing and going to these premieres and partying together, and you're seeing all these people. But it's also, you're doing everything that everyone else is doing, and you're seeing everyone like, and everyone's trying to like compete with each other and be the cooler person, and like, yeah. And it's like, it's fake because like not everyone is like the person they're like Instagram portrays. So
yeah, that's it.
And like, I don't know, you like see who's an original person and like actually like real, and then you see who's like kind of taken from that original person and like made it their thing.
Yeah. That's funny, man. It's like, it sounds like Salt Lake's like the Hollywood of ski culture.
Oh, for sure. And it's like you go to Park City and everyone's trying to like be on the fashion runway and outdo each other. And I mean, I do too. I put on the craziest kits just to go film, and it's lit, and like that's what I love to do. But everyone's like, if baggy pants are baggy, then like everyone's wearing baggy pants. If everyone's wearing a capiche belt, everyone's wearing a capiche belt. And not to say that's a bad thing. I like original people too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the skiing at Park City is at such a high level, yet I'll like see someone do a trick, and then I'll see someone else like copy them 2 runs later, and I'm just like, can anyone like do something for themselves? And like, I get frustrated by it, and that's why I try not to like be filming there all the time.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're creative, it's exhausting being around people that are just trying to capture whatever like the trendiest current thing is. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't really tap into that creative energy. It's kind of just I mean, it's like you said, it's not original.
Yeah, and it's like a great place because like, yeah, you're seeing so much inspiration, but like no one's taking inspiration right now and making it an original thing. They're just being like, oh, I'm inspired by this person, I'm gonna just like be a clone of them. And like, no hate, because I love the way the culture is growing, but I even see it with like filming, and it's like people just be like, I don't know, trying to just like do exactly what me or OSAP do. And that's fine because like we're inspired by people too. But I want to see progression and new things. And yeah, that's why I have turned off my Instagram for now. So I can just kind of like be original with myself and like take inspiration from what's like around me and traveling and like what I'm viewing, not like just what's on Instagram and what's trending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What else, apart from like the traveling and just seeing the world, are you drawing inspiration from right now? Like, are you drawing it from any different mediums or sports or music, movies, anything like that? Like anything outside of skiing that you're drawing inspiration from?
I'd say I take inspiration from, yeah, of course, all the things around me and the traveling, but I really enjoy going thrifting and just seeing the way things were made like previously and finding creativity in like old things. I listen to so much music. I can link like my Spotify and SoundCloud for the people that are interested because I don't know. I always have the headphones on skiing and filming and I'm always just trying to like listen to the craziest thing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm on Pinterest a lot looking for inspiration of just like things as well. Because, yeah, I don't know. And also, I feel like maybe I'm not the person to be talking about this. Like, I'm not trying to claim that I'm like some grand artist. I film skiing, but I do feel like I'm a creative person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could be creative and not have a huge ego about it, you know? Like it's fine to be creative and humble or just, you know, or be creative and be an asshole about it. You could be
I just don't want people to think I'm like out here trying to talk about music when like I don't play music, so like I don't really know music. I just know what I like.
Yeah.
And I guess that's all it comes down to is I feel like an original person because I like the things I like. And I try not to like I take inspiration from things I like, and some of those things might be what's popular, but I don't try to just be like following all the trends.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think what you mentioned before about how you see, you know, you see it in skiing with people like, you know, when they're first starting, they just copy somebody else's style. If they start filming, they just try to copy somebody else's style. I think that's like the first step in finding your own voice. Like you see what works and then you just try to do that. And then when you finally have the confidence or like the skill set, then you could kind of blaze your own path.
For sure. And like I I dealt with that so much because like I totally just like was growing up and copied Ty Evans' current style, which is Hollywood. And then I realized like it wasn't really me. And then I started hanging out with different people. OSAP taught me so much about camcorder style, and I got a lot of influence from him. And like, I'll always give him credit for that. And we always talk about it, and we're always still working on videos together, which is so awesome. We're going to be at X Games together here in a few weeks. But now I feel like I'm at the point where people can recognize my video without my name on it.
Well, I think you like what I was watching some of your edits. I think you have a very like collage style of filming and editing. I don't know if you'd describe it that way too, but like when I see your like that, like if I just saw a video without obviously any context or like any credits, and it was that collage style, the photo and like all the like 6 different songs in one edit. Like that's
to me your that's stuff. That's like my brain in a nutshell. Like people might not understand it or like it because it's like they're used to the standard like 1 to 2 songs, like use the full song. But the way my brain is, it's like it's all over the place, switching all the time, and I can't just like set into one thing like that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm stoked on photography a lot too. And including that into videos the best way I can is awesome. And I think, yeah, Pinterest, like if I was to make a video, it'd be like Pinterest because it's just like a collage board of like all these different feelings and moods going on.
Dude, I feel like the video that does that best that you've done, that kind of like, I would say, like best represents your style would be the Kimbo friendship video. And I love it because like I feel like you and me might have a similar taste in music just based off that edit. But like, there's so many different there's just so many different things going on. And like you'll have Lil Uzi 1 second, and then like Billy Joel like a moment later, and like it's just I feel like that edit really sums it up.
Thank you. Yeah, I would agree with that, and I think just with the way skiing is, and like trying to progress skiing, like capturing all these people, all these original people for who they are. That's like the best way I find to do it. And like at Kimbo, you have all these big personalities and all these different people coming together, and I feel like that's why it's so like all over the place, is because it is all over the place.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've encountered with the podcast as well, is like if you want to best succeed in showcasing someone as they are, you have to just accept them as they are. You can't be like, oh, well, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? Like, to get the essence of them, you have to just accept it and be like, all right, that's who this person is. That you don't compare them to anybody else. It's like, this is who they are. And it's hard to let go of wanting to like put them in a box.
I love creating a contrast of like who someone is to what is shown, but also showing someone for who they are is such like a awesome thing. And like for me, in my mind, that's like Henrik. Like I love putting him to like some crazy rock music or something that like he wouldn't really be like maybe listening to all the time. But at the same time, like that classic like hip hop feel with him is just, it's him. So that's like when it feels the best.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, in order for like the rock music to land, you need to know who Henrik is, and then recognize that the rock music is the opposite of what he is. But that's what makes it interesting.
It's like it almost goes full circle.
Yeah.
It's so opposite, but he has so much appreciation for that as well, because there's so much influence in that in the hip hop music he's listening to.
Yeah.
And it gets sampled in the hip hop songs, and like, yeah, Henrik has great knowledge about music. I've talked to him a lot about it, and it goes way past like Griselda and West Side Gun and what people like see online, you know?
Yeah, that's wild, dude. So okay, we gotta get back to this because people, I mean, the filmers are dying to know this, like the aspiring filmers. How did you make that leap from being like just a normal everyday kid that really probably didn't know much to like filming with Henrik and making like Armada team edits and like making just like some of the hottest videos? Like, what was that progression like, or was there like a big breakout? Like, how did you make that jump?
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. Like, I think I just like put my mind into like, I'm gonna bring something different to skiing, and people are either gonna like it and appreciate it, or it's gonna like go nowhere. And I think I just like came in at a good time after COVID, and people were like just ready to see something new. And yeah, I would also just say I'm very like social person, and everyone I meet becomes a friend, and like I don't really try to have any enemies in my life, and like I really value like the relationships and friendships in my life. So just, yeah. But I also feel like I did grind for it too. Like, I don't want to discredit myself. Like, I was filming Jed. Jed introduced me to Walker. Walker introduced me to Quinn or something. And then steady filming Quinn, like trying to like get people to see it. And then Quinn put me on pretty big and brought me to X Games. And I got to meet so many people. And I had the best time with him. And he actually ended up winning Knuckle Huck, which was the event he was there for. And that really just like put our relationship in a good place, because there's just so much like good stuff going on there. And Armada saw the video we made from there and like what everyone on the team had been saying. And then I got the opportunity from Corey Stanton, who's OG Armada filmer, filmed a lot of like Tanner's old projects and has a lot of big projects in skiing from the past. He gave me the opportunity to come out and to Sweden and film the Armada Team Week, which was a huge thing for me because I got to meet like B-Dog and Henrik and everyone. It was so awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so that's when you made all those connections, was out there.
Yeah, that's when I made all the Armada related connections. I made a lot at X Games too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it was kind of just a blur. I was just pumping out videos as much as I could and like trying to like really find what I liked, while also like still just trying to like film my homies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because like, can I tap in on something?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I moved to Salt Lake, like I didn't have a car. I didn't have shit. Like me and my best friend Kyle would just fucking take the bus to spots. Actually, we made the first video I made in Salt Lake was called Capital Punishment with our crew, the pedestrians, because we were just like walking or driving to spots on the bus. And I'm still super stoked on that project just because of like the realness and the connection I have to it, because it's all like my best friends from Pennsylvania. And I don't know, it's just cool to like come from taking the bus to spots to then like getting flown to Sweden to go shoot with the Armada team. It was like, and it was all in the same year, which is like a big shift for me.
That's insane. So when you were like, I know that like creative people have this issue, especially like when people are first starting out, like you progress so fast at the beginning that like it's almost discouraging, because you'll look at your stuff from like a month ago and be like, damn, that was so whack. And it's like embarrassing that it's out. And then like a month later, you're like, oh, the shit I was doing a month ago is whack now, because like it just moves so fast. Like, did you struggle with that at all at first?
Oh yeah. Like I still do, because I still feel like I'm progressing at such a fast pace. I haven't been putting much out because I've just been like maybe feeling that progression more than ever of like, oh, like this shit sucks. So I don't even put it out. But I don't know. It was definitely like I would watch the X Games video like 2 weeks after and be like, damn, like, why did I just like do that or something? Or like, why is the colors like this? But all that led to like a lot more knowledge, and just trying things like made me grow a lot. But I don't know. I still love all those videos because they all my videos to me are like a time capsule. I'm never like going out really to make an edit. I'm like going to like capture the time and how I was feeling in that moment.
Mm.
Like to me, the Kimbo video isn't like really an edit. Like I know it's ski focused, but it's more about like all the feelings of that week and the people around me.
Yeah. No, that comes through in that video too. Yeah. It's like a scrapbook.
I think that's what a lot of people honestly get frustrated about my videos and make me overthink is I'm never really like trying to make like a ski video, a classic like ski video. I'm trying to like capture these emotions and these people around me and like everything around me in like an artistic way. But some people just want to see skiing. Mm-hmm. And that's totally fine. Like I'm hyped on skiing, but I'm more hyped on like the people around me and capturing that. And a lot of the things I hear is just like too much B-roll or too much this and that. And it's like, that's totally fine. Because to me, it's a time capsule and people look back and be like way more hyped on like, I don't know, the moments that we were sharing together than maybe the 540 that was done on the jump. So
yeah,
at least in my head. And like when I watch old skate videos, I'm like way more hyped on like the hijinks of things and like those moments and the music, honestly, than like the skating. Like I'm hyped on the skating, but like, yeah, I don't know. Just like that Eric Costin getting his wallet stolen is like the most memorable thing to me. Like that clip is just so legendary.
Yeah. Dude, damn. Yeah, it is true because at a certain point, like the skiing is just I mean, sometimes there's stuff that is truly groundbreaking and you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just watched that." But when you've watched enough, and I'm sure when you've filmed enough, you're like, yeah, like I've seen this before, or I've seen something similar enough to this. And I think that's why I like your videos because it's like, all right, I've seen skiing before. I want to see like the personality with it. I want to like know what the vibe was like. I want to I want to watch something funny where it's like, damn, that skit. Like I think Owen does it great with like the stupid skits that Magma's been like. They're good, but because it's like cringy and funny and they're not that good, you know. And that's the same thing as skate videos. Whenever skaters do that,
like, yeah, it's comedy.
Yeah,
like, the church one is like going to be so memorable, and like I don't know, OSAP does it the best, and yeah, I don't know. I have seen skiing so much, and I think that's another thing is like. The skiing I'm putting in the videos, that's the skiing that should be seen.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's all these other tricks that could go in it or whatever. But the skiing that's in it is what like matters just as much as the funny moment that happened. And the funny moment might only be funny to the people that were there. But in 10 years, me and those people will look back and be like, damn, that's still funny. I don't really care. I'm just like super hyped that like I have been able to be successful and make a career out of doing that and not just having to like go film trick and like make the craziest trick edit. I can like go capture a different perspective. And I think that's like why X Games is one of my favorite things. It's so there's such a high focus on the competition and the tricks, but there's so much personality and fun and funny stuff going on there to be captured.
Dude, it's such a great environment. Dude, this is where I met you. Like just being on the big air knuckle during practice is one of the best spots to be in all of skiing. It's so funny.
It's like one of the worst, like most toxic places because there's just all these like dickhead coaches who are like just way too like not stoked on skiing to like be at a ski event.
Yeah, like they're all business.
So like I'm like shirtless on the knuckle filming, like super hyped to just be like kind of making a joke of X Games that I'm like shirtless on their knuckle, like just kind of messing around, and that I can do that.
Dude, it's kind of wild too. Like when they were doing knuckle huck practice and Henrik would drop, bro, you would skate over and get like inches away from him on the knuckle. Meanwhile, every other coach and filmer is like basically pressed against the fence, and you're like just getting right in the middle, almost getting hit by everyone.
Yeah. I mean, there's this clip where Quinn goes over my skis on accident. I'm just like, fuck, like I'm really in it. But
yeah,
the coaches, I'm always battling on the knuckle.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Even here, like I went to Pankin today, and the Czech team is there and their coaches are on the knuckle, and like for some reason it affects the vibe so much. They take up so much room, and they're always just like right where like you kind of want to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. X Games knuckle is one of the biggest competitions of the year, I'll say.
Yeah.
That's the new competition for X Games. It's who can control the knuckle the most.
During practice.
During practice, yeah. And I hope I can be a gold medalist this year.
Dude, I think you're a contender for sure. Like literally it was you, OSAP, and Jossie Wells filming next to each other, and you had the biggest physical presence out of the three of you, which is crazy.
I don't know. OSAP's mustache carries a lot of weight.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny, bro. So I got a couple questions that I think just aspiring filmers will want to know. So at this point, are you making enough money to fully support your life just strictly off of filming? Like, yes. So this is a viable career path.
It is a viable career path. I would not necessarily say it's like an accessible, viable career path. Like, I feel very fortunate and lucky that I've gotten myself into a position where I can make a career out of it. But I know a lot of talented filmers that like can't, just because of like either who they're filming or just like they don't know enough people, but like their videos could even be better than mine. But they still are like it's not their full job. And some people don't even want it as their full job, because it takes away from the passion part of it. Yeah. But for me, I'm fortunate enough to like go film my friends and make the career I want out of it.
Yeah, that's so tight.
Like, honestly, it all comes down to Armada. Like, they've really put a lot of trust in me and given me like more support than like I can even like know, because they lace me up good contract yearly, so yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah,
and I can still film like whatever I want.
Yeah. So I mean, you touched on a little bit.
Trust my vision in that, like, I like Armada, so that's like who I rock with.
Yeah. Yeah. So you briefly mentioned it, but like, do you feel like it being your career has messed up the passion side of it for you, or are you still super passionate about it?
There's been times where it's messed it up. Not like messed it up, but it's just like put a different pressure or artistic like block on it. Because it's like, I got the opportunity to go to New Zealand this year with Exit and Jed for our Terex, and I'm super hyped on everything we did and the project we made, but just like the music rights associated with like filming for proper companies and not just for passion, like not being able to use any music I want, really did affect like how happy I was with the project.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like that's a huge limiting factor when you actually start making money, is like you can't just use any song you want. You have to use some like whack royalty free, or like the company has to like pay for the rights to it, and they might not be willing to do it. And
but I've been like meeting some really talented people, and Tormod and Cody Gomez. I don't know if you're familiar with either of them, but I'm sure some of the listeners are. They're both big skiers these days, and they both make beats that I love to use in the videos. And my friend Kyle, he's in a band, so that's pretty sweet because I grew up singing with him, so their music is great.
Yeah. I got something else, and I don't know, I feel like this is important to some people. It's not as important to me, but like, do you have a general workflow for like filming and editing? Like, are you big on organizing your clips? Do you leave everything disorganized? Like, do you have a certain preference for, like, do you choose the song before you start editing? Like, what's your general workflow for that sort of thing?
Yeah, I would say OSAP, and everyone around me would hate me for this because I'm the most unorganized person with the footage. If I took a picture of like my hard drive, it would make sense to no one.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense to me. Most days I'm like looking on Snap Memories to see like, oh, what day did I film? And I have to like search it in because my clips are like dated. But yeah. And since in terms of that workflow, not the best. I can get organized if any brands are listening. Like I can perform. But and then in terms of like editing, I'm pretty rogue. I'll like put the clips in, put some crazy music that I was listening to today, realize I don't like it like 8 times, change the songs, and like, yeah, I'll like put like 8 songs in a timeline, and then put some clips in, and whatever like kind of lands is what I go with. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I have like a super specific vision of like, I hear this song and I know like the clips I want with it. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, I can definitely like go out and film and be like knowing how it's gonna go. Cause like now I'm at the point where like I know the way I film, I know the clips I'm gonna have, and I know like what I want to fill it in, and I make sure I get all that so it's easy to edit. Like I know I want these like funny moments in it, so I'm gonna be like filming all the time. I don't just want tricks, so I'm gonna film more than that.
Yeah. What's your like preferred environment for editing? Are you like, do you sit in your room with all the lights off and like 10 monitors in front of you? Or are you like editing on the go? And the other thing too is like, when you start a project, do you keep going until it's done, or do you like split it up over a few days?
Yeah, this is rogue. I'm never like, I never have found the like way to edit right. Mm-hmm. Like it usually is like, I'll get it like 40% done and feel like it's almost done, and realize I have like way more work to do, and then be like, oh yeah, like this is gonna premiere tomorrow. We have our premiere tomorrow. Oh yeah, like a bunch of people are coming. Oh, is the video exported or done? No, it never is. And like in New Zealand, I had a premiere for the Hazard movie this year, and I couldn't figure out how to export it, so I had to play it out of Premiere at the premiere. And I had just edited for like 13 hours straight to finish it.
Yeah. Oh, so you'll go all in one rip if you need to. Like you'll sit down
if I need to, but I love like going skiing or like doing these things that like change my mindset, my perspective, and then coming to it when it feels right.
Yeah.
But that's why sometimes like it might never come. Like I honestly have this video of the whole Harlaut team from New Zealand from 2 years ago. That super heater, and it's gonna come out and it's gonna do well and like be a really sick one to put out. But I just haven't fully like felt the full thing yet to like put it out. And like I know that's upsetting to like them and a lot of other people, but I want to like I feel this pressure that since it is Henrik and like this video that could have such like a everlasting like watchability and stuff, that I want it to be like at least perfect in my mind when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but keep a heads up for that one, because maybe it'll come out.
Yeah. So when you feel like a video's done, are you saying like that's when you like it's the best that it could be, or like what's that feeling like for you when you think that something's ready to come out?
Yeah. I think the moment I know when I want to post the video is if I can make like 4 Instagram square sized postable things that I'm hyped on and watch the video through like 3 times and be like, all right, yeah, word. Like I'm gonna just post it before I change my mind. And then I just post it, and usually people are hyped on it.
So the Instagram,
I won't watch it for 2 or 3 weeks while everyone is telling me, yo, just watched it. That's when I don't watch it. And then I'll go back like 3 months later and be like, yo, like this is sick. And like if I randomly found this video, I'd be hyped to watch it.
yeah, that's a cool evaluation of it. So the Instagram rollout is part of your creative process of being like, all right, yeah, this checks out.
For sure. I think that's one thing that I like try and do differently is my rollout with the Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
I like am always trying to make different edits for Instagram than what is on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I'll make like 4 or 5 edits in a swipe post that aren't what's in the YouTube video. And if
like they're just used to promo the actual video. Yeah.
Well, and it's like making my Instagram like an art gallery or something. Like I only do the swipe posts really, or I try to. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure I'm like posting like the highest quality Instagram post I can. Mm-hmm. It's like I could just post like a 16 and be like, yo, fire edit drop on the YouTube. And like maybe one day I will, when I'm just like ready to like be posting on Instagram. But when I post, it's going to be like a full post that people like will come back to. Like I talk to people and they always come back to that. There's this post from Sweden and it's this edit of Easy Panda, and people always are telling me they go back to that, or they go back to this tour mod edit, or like anything. Yeah. And that, I guess that's what I'm like looking for on Instagram. It's like I don't want it to just be relevant for like the moment it's in. I'd love for people to like go back and watch it, because that's why I make YouTube videos. It's like for people to rewatch it and like the time capsule thing. But Instagram is like the current platform, so I'm trying to like conform to that. I don't really prefer to just like be posting like crap or reels or like honestly things that would benefit my career and make me gain followers. And all my friends are like, oh, you could post reels like once a day and grow your following. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could.
But you don't want to.
I don't know. And that's why I'm so thankful for like my support at Armada and other companies that I get to work with, because they aren't worried about me just like posting reels. Mm-hmm. They can post the reels, and they know I'll post what I do. And you like what I found is like it does do well, and like the engagement on the posts are high. So
yeah, dude, wild. Do you have any?
I'm dropping a lot of like maybe crap about just Instagram, but
no, dude, it's like I'm telling you, any aspirational filmer is like going to be hanging on all your words for this. You gotta. I mean,
yeah, maybe I'll go back into the career thing just briefly, but
yeah,
it's totally like something you can make happen. You just have to like want to make it happen. You can't just like, honestly, you can't just smoke weed and ski at the park every day and like just film fisheye and think your shit's like the sickest. You have to like, there's way more to it than just the filming. Like you have to be like a person that can meet people, make friends, and like talk to people and be around people for like an extended amount of time and know how to work with all different types of people and not bother them, kind of. And like, I don't know, I'm not the best at making deadlines and like all those things, but what makes up for it is like the way I am able to communicate to people and like try and make people understand my vision with things. And I feel like anyone can make a career out of filming skiing. It's just a matter of like, will you allow yourself to? Will you put in like the extra effort to do that? And like, will you take the risk of moving? Because I couldn't have made it in skiing from Pennsylvania, and I know that. And I just had to like take the risk and not have any money for a few years to like do it. And you can't like hold yourself above anyone. You have to like really see everyone as a valuable person and every relationship as equal, and any opportunity you have, just take it, at least when you're starting out, because that's the only way to grow. And I don't know, people talk, and if you're equal to everyone else, they'll be good to you, I feel like.
I thought of this, and it's helped me in my career, so I want to see if you've done the same thing. Do you ask for your opportunities, or do you wait till they're presented? Like with Armada, for example, like do you approach them and say, hey, I would love to do X, Y, and Z? Or like Kimbo, for example, I think Kimbo's a good one because it's just you're reaching out to him. Like, are you asking for those opportunities, or are you waiting until those opportunities are presented to you?
I'm a constant asker.
Me too.
Which is like a good thing and a bad thing. It's like I will ask it and ask for things and be like, fuck, like maybe this month I asked for way too many things. It's like Armada, like, yeah, actually, I don't know if I can talk about this yet, but they're doing some stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, I was just like, just asking. I was like, want to send me to Europe like tomorrow? And they're like, for what? And I was like, I just need to go film with Danny and like get things started. And like, I don't know, it's like that quote where like you take 100% of, the one where
Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to take as many shots as I can.
Yeah.
And usually it works out. And if someone's like trying to say no, that's more motivation for me to be like, all right, you said no, but I'm gonna go do it. And then you're gonna like realize, oh yeah, like word.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm pretty, it is like a pretty known thing that I don't ask, or like, maybe I'm not an asker. I'm kind of like a doer, and then I'll ask. I'm definitely asking for like opportunities with things, but like Level 1 had their rail jam at Brighton, and like of course I could hit up Connor and be like, yo, can I like get a media pass, whatever. But I just showed up and started filming and like walking wherever I wanted, and he wasn't very hyped. I'll just say that, and like that's fine. But I was also like, this is our local resort, kind of, and like I'm gonna film wherever I want. And
yeah, like you're showing up to our home mountain. I'm not asking you for permission to film where I ride.
Yeah, and so then I just did it, and like obviously I could have been like, I'm not even gonna say it's like a respectful thing to do is to ask for the media pass, because to me that isn't like a respect thing. But then like, yeah, he was kind of bummed, and then ended up like DMing me and was like, yeah, can I like get the footage and we'll Venmo. And I was down, because like I'm not trying to like be out here causing problems. I'm not trying to be out here causing problems, but I do like kind of push my limits sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's always like, I always feel like I'm right. I'm always like, I'm big on like asking for forgiveness and not for permission. So
me too, dude. Yeah. I mean, why wait for Connor to give you permission to film at your home mountain and then the edit that you put out, Level P, was way better. And I mean, I'm sure they're not trying to be funny, but like it was better than any of their recap videos. So it's like you're almost doing them a favor by making like the hotter edit.
Yeah, and I think I put it out before theirs.
That's probably why he was tight.
I don't know. Connor's great, and he does a lot. Oh shit! I probably shouldn't eat yet. No, Connor is great though, and he does a lot for skiing, and I have a lot of respect for what he does at Level 1 and stuff. So it's nothing against him. It's just who I am. I just always feel like I'm out here like trying to do something like maybe I shouldn't, but it's like it's for the good.
Yeah.
It's always Hood. It's always at Mount Hood. I'm always like low key pushing the boundaries, and maybe it's because I'm with Sammy C and he's like from there and kind of is like, yeah, like we can push it. But I'm always like just pushing my luck a little, and like I'm sure all this will catch up to me, but I'm always trying to just make an opportunity for myself by doing something more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I love
and that's all it is. It's nothing like with malicious intent to like disrespect people.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Damn. I love that, dude. I love that. All right. So we'll wrap it up. We don't have any viewer questions for this, but I will ask something that people wonder. What's it like filming with Henrik? Like, what's he like behind the scenes when he's trying to land a trick and get the shot? Like, does he want to be left alone? Like, are you talking to him? Like, what's good with Henrik?
He's like big on the vibes and like getting the vibe right, I'd say. And like, I don't know, he definitely wants to be like interacting with you. Like he'll be serious and like want to like get his shit, but he'll definitely be like, all right, Igor is what he calls me. He's like, all right, Igor, like we're about to get it for real. And like we have like our own like language per se that we've like came up with each other and that he uses with all of his friends. And like he titles his videos like Burshino, and like that's something like, so I was like, what's up, Burshino? Like, I'm not gonna give away any of his slang, but yeah, he is big on like all that. And the Henrik you see is the Henrik that is Henrik. Like, it's not just for a camera, it's not for anything. Like, I have him on Snapchat, and like he'll send me like the funniest stuff that I know he isn't trying to be funny, but I just find it funny.
That's wild. I mean, I've heard so much on this podcast so far, so many like behind the scenes stories, and I honestly think that having Henrik on Snapchat is like the surprisingly one of the more impressive things I've ever heard for some reason. It's just mad funny.
Yeah, I was like chilling in the gondola the other day, and I was like, oh shit, new Snapchat from Henrik. It's a video.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's up, Roshina? It's snowlings in Andorra. We got the tube over here. Like, we about to get a sesh. Give thanks and praises to the Lord Rastafari. Like, it was such a crazy snap to receive, but it has like such positive energy in it.
Yeah.
But honestly, like all the people I film with are always like sending me some funny stuff. Like Sammy Carlson is always like in the DMs on like some photo of what he's doing, or like his hot tub. Like, he loves that. And like, yeah, everyone I film with is like my friend, and that's like a major thing of mine, is like filming my friends, or at least like making the person I'm filming my friend.
Yeah.
Then it doesn't feel like that business thing that we had been talking about.
Yeah. That's awesome, bro. Damn. All right, we'll round it out. You got anything you want to leave us off with?
A crazy story for the road?
Yeah, that's a crazy story for the road. Close us out.
All right. Crazy story that probably a good amount of people have heard by now. But on that trip to Sweden, first time ever going to Europe, I show up to the airport. They're like, oh yeah, like your COVID vaccine like isn't valid. You have to go get a COVID test. And like my flight was in like 2 hours or something. So I get this rapid test. It's like $300. That was fried already. Then I get on my flight and miss my connection in Paris. So then I just have like a night. I go to the Eiffel Tower. I'm big chilling. It's lit. And then I like go to get on my flight at like 5 a.m. the next morning. And they're like, oh, like you can't bring your carry-on suitcase. Like the plane's too small or something. And I had already had it through security the day before. So then I had to leave my suitcase with like all my clothes at the airport. And then, yeah, finally Paris to Sweden, land. And I'm already like a day late to this for my first team shoot. Like, I'm so excited to like go meet the team. And I had like missed the shuttle because I missed my flight. And then, because it's like 4 hours from Stockholm to Clapham where the shoot was. So then I get on this train. I'm like, oh, we're gonna be chill. And the biggest fire in Sweden history goes down right next to the train tracks. So the train stops for like 5 hours, and I have no idea what's going on. It's all just in Swedish in the announcements and everything. I like checked Snap Map, and I was like, oh fuck, like right where I am is like this huge fire. So like 5 hours go by, and eventually we like ride by it, and it's still on fire. It's like this recycling facility, and it looks like Call of Duty. It's like the craziest scene ever. And then Yeah, I don't know. I had like so many bags with me too, and I took a taxi and a bus, and it was just like the craziest first experience in Europe traveling. And I was like, I'm never fucking coming back to Europe. This is like actually horrible. I showed up like 2 or 3 days late, no clothes, and then just like had 2 days of the shoot, and just like went in and filmed like as much as possible.
I'm glad. I'm glad you included that one for us. Your first trip in Europe. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
brutal.
classic.
That's a classic ECook origin story right there.
Yeah.
All right, where could the Instagram is disabled right now? Where do you want to direct people to stay in touch with you,
To stay in touch,
or just keep up to date on what's good?
you can hit my Snapchat at ECook skis, or the YouTube is about to go off. I'm about to have so much stuff dropping on there. It's at ECook on YouTube. You can find it pretty easily, or at Hazard Network on YouTube. There'll be some stuff dropping on there too. And yeah, as soon as I start dropping videos, the Instagram will probably come back. So get ready for the comeback, I'll say. I'm not going to like claim it because that's kind of whack, but the comeback to the Instagram is going to be heavy, I feel like.
Word. Well, dude, thank you for your time. This was sick.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to get on again. We'll get into some deep stories of all these travels and trips sometime.
Yeah, word.